Oh yeah, yes, and we are live.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are live on Let's Think podcast. I'm your host, Sheikh Seven Islam L, and I got my co-host,
Islam.
Jarvis Griffell.
Islam. Islam.
And we are in the building. First allow me to rise, giving all thanks and perfect praises unto Allah, highest honors to His holy prophet. Honors to the forerunner of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Honors to my leadership, Brother L. Portis L. Sister Sheikis M. Portis L. Honors to our administration. Honors to our guest, Brother Sheikh Sharif Anael-Bey, the champion here.
Islam.
And honors to his administration, and honors to you all. Honors to everybody. I mean everybody participating in this comprehensive program of uplifting fallen humanity. And we're back on Let's Think Podcast. So what do we have going on today? How y'all brothers feel today?
I feel good, man.
Feeling good.
Yes, sir.
I demonstrated that holy water, so I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, most definitely, man. Hey, listen. With so much going on in the world today, we got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot. I mean, the show we're gonna do another reaction to a Taj Tarik video or presentation. But man, there's just so much going on right now. Like, so much going on. This bombs over Iran. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's no matter what people are saying now, nobody can deny that we are in this thing now. We, as in the United States, we are in this thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are in this thing. But I want to point out again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We're so propagandized. I'm talking about the American public, that we won't look outside and see that the sky is blue. We will wait for the media to tell us it's blue before we even believe our own eyes. And people can think that's harsh and that's extreme, but it's not. Like I pointed out in the last show, you got quote unquote Mexicans and quote unquote black people, so-called, fighting each other over whether one should support the other, either should give support to each other over the immigration and the deportation thing happening in California. And neither side is clear-minded enough, collectively speaking, to look at what's actually happening and recognize that it's not even deportation.
Isn't that so?
It's not even deportation. It is a pilot program for the very swiftly approaching new post-American police state. That's what it is. You don't get deported to a prison.
No,
you get deported to the country of your origin.
There you go. And then now there's legislation that has already been spoken on extensively, where they're talking about Trump being able to deport American citizens. Where? To where?
Exactly.
That's not deportation, people.
Exactly.
See?
Exactly.
It's not deportation.
Exactly.
That is the extension of private prison industry.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And now you got this guy that came out in California publicly. He came out, he said months ago, ICE approached them. Who's the them? He's one of the them. Who is the them?
Who is
Bounty
them?
hunters, civilian bounty hunters.
Oh wow.
They're contracting bounty hunters.
Wow.
And they're literally saying, we'll pay you $1,000 per head. And these guys are going, well, hey, state of California, any other places, they're like, you're gonna pay us double the money to keep us away from you? This is what we facing, people. Yeah, that's what we facing.
So it's you know, in another school of thought, we said, you know, people use particular names, titles, and words to shield a dirty religion. You know what I'm saying?
Brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Honorable Elijah Muhammad have been saying this for so long, and they got all kinds of vilification for it. But here's what's interesting about
AKA, is it real?
Is it real? Is it real? Right. Is it real? Listen, here's what's crazy about that part. Either our president is incredibly sneaky and shrewd and fooled not only the American public in general, but his own base. Or he's really not the brightest lamp, you know, for real. Either way it goes, either you were in collusion with Netanyahu the whole time while you tell everybody you're the peace president and there'll be no wars on your watch, or you got straight dog walked into the war by Netanyahu. There's no gray area.
Both and.
Yeah. But now that being said, now follow me. Remember on the show, we need to do a show just specific on this particular topic. Zionist Israel and Christian Zionists. A lot of people never knew that Christian Zionism existed or was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Real thing.
Now watch this. Remember I mentioned in previous past a few presentations ago how Zionist Israel is backed by an American oligarchy. Money. The ideology behind many of these oligarchs is Christian Zionism. But let me show you the irony of this whole thing. U.S. gets involved with the whole situation with Iran. That's all region. That is almost guaranteeing regional conflict. Regional. Now, we can get into details. We don't even have to. What it means is that a lot of people get blowed up.
Yep.
All right. Who's guaranteed to get blowed up? Israel. Guaranteed. Now, here's the thing. You think Trump is going to protect Israel in this situation? Trump is, if there's one thing he's consistent about, is being consistently transactional. Everything he does is what's in it for me. Israel has no more use. All of Israel's assets are, what's the word? I guess you could almost say outsourced. They're not in Israel, is the point. They're not in Israel. Now follow me. That means, this is crazy. What has Netanyahu been saying for over 30 years? That the Islamic states are trying to wipe us off the map. That's what he's been saying. And it's, no matter what we do, we are depending on the United States to back us.
Yep.
Where are these oligarchs? What is their ideology? Christian Zionism. Follow me. If you know anything about Christian Zionism, the only reason they support the state of Israel, is because in Christian Zionism's ideology, the state of Israel foreshadows the second coming of Jesus. And when the second, according to their ideology, when the second coming of Jesus comes, he's going to wipe out everybody but Christians. And that includes the Jewish Zionists. That's their ideology.
Whoa.
That's it.
Whoa.
So So they have depended on the very people. So watch this. Follow me. It's been the Christian Zionists saying, go Israel, go Zionism, go Israel, coached them right into the spot they're in right now. Right up until this very moment, what did Jewish Zionism always, or Zionist Israel always depend on? We're the perpetual victims because of the Holocaust.
Yep.
And look at what the oligarchs have pushed them into. They've made them worse than what happened to them.
Fact.
So now the whole world despises them.
And in other words, you know, indirectly, they identified themselves with their previous trauma.
Isn't that something, bro? So much so that the whole world despises them. And you know what's happening right now? They're all trying to get up out of there.
Yep.
But now watch this. Watch this. Here's what's so crazy. They're soft. They're as soft as Americans. This is what I mean by that. They're not going to die behind the Zionist Jewish identity. You hear what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to deny their Jewish identity just so they can stay in another country.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Just like they hijacked Jewish identity. All right. That's what we're about to see.
Boy.
Yeah, they saw.
And I wonder why we having all these talks about, you know, is it real and things of that particular nature. I wonder if we, because I pay attention to social media, I pay attention to media. You know what I'm saying? Even though I may not say it, you know, everything I'm paying attention to.
Right.
However, nobody's talking about actually what happened over with Iran, and is it real and things of that particular nature. You know,
you mean like
you know,
the whole. What do you mean in specifics?
I mean, like actually, like they fist the cuffs. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like
You know what I'm saying? But
like
nobody's paying attention to it because it's really, you know, we get what happens is we get fed propaganda and things of that nature. You know, we so paid attention to P Diddy and, you know, Fat Joe and you know, all of these other guys who mean absolutely nothing,
right,
in the grand scheme of things, and
right.
we miss what's going on.
Brother, watch. Let me continue on to your point with the irony of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we said about transactional?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody now, what's bigger than the conflict is global economic power, or in this case, regional economic power. Everybody, and this might sound harsh, but it's just the truth. When you got people that their main focus is global markets, sustaining and controlling said markets, even at the regional level, this is one thing they know. A demolished country is way more valuable. You hear what I'm telling you?
That's a
You know, somebody got to get paid off the pain.
And watch, like right now, Israel, yeah, I mean, you know, property costs, things like that. It's like Manhattan.
Absolutely.
But not when the bombs drop. And when the people start taking off by the thousands. What happens to, you know, expensive zoning costs and things like that to build or rebuild? They disappear.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
You see where this is going?
Absolutely.
It's much more lucrative to develop something that's underdeveloped or demolished. But guess what? Israel ain't got the money to do it. They're getting bombed back to the Stone Age. Do you realize the only people in the area that have the money to do it are the very people that they say are trying to destroy them? Do you realize that in the next 5 to 10 years, the average Israeli is going to be telling his Arab Islamic landlords, oh, I was always against the genocide. I wouldn't want to. Not me. The next 5 to 10 years, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, when we said in a previous show on Let's Think podcast that the so-called Middle East and the nations in the Middle East, which are Islamic, will be the new Europe.
I don't think people understood what you said when you said that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I don't think they understood. But hey, guess what they will see though?
What's that?
You know, that the Middle East will be the New Europe.
Straight like that. We're watching it happen in our lifetime. We're watching it happen in front of our eyes right now. Think about it. Hold on. Think about it. Everybody they talked about it briefly. They were a little critical about it because they didn't quite understand why. Trump makes his first Mid-East tour. What country does he not go to? Israel.
Israel.
Very telltale.
Israel. And everybody went straight to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And you already know what was on his mind. Let's make deals.
And he got that bag too.
Mm.
That bag came through.
Yes.
That bag came through.
See what I'm saying?
It's a lot of money leaving Saudi Arabia coming to West Africa and
see that?
Coming to the United States.
So, it's yeah. Bottom line, you know what we're going to see in our lifetime, inshallah? You know what we're going to see?
Inshallah.
We're going to see the dissolution, the end of the state of Israel. It's a colonial settler project that is about to go bye-bye. It's already going. Already.
Inshallah.
Yeah, it's already going, people. Who's going to redevelop the area?
Asiatics.
The Islamic Ummah, Asiatics. That's right.
Asiatics.
That's right, bro.
Asiatics. Facts.
That's what's going to happen. Get used to it.
Get ready for
what's
it.
About to happen.
Get your mind wrapped around that, and it's going to be unbelievable. A lot of it's hard to see for most, but the truth needs no support, and this coming reality, needs no support.
Right.
So it is what it is. Honors and gratitude to Adam Cobb. Ace, we see you in the building. We got 15 people in the building. Everybody, make sure you please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please.
One last thing I want to say about the whole Iran conflict.
Yes, sir.
The whole professed objective is, well, we're trying to prevent them from ever obtaining nuclear weapons, right? We're not even going to talk about the fact that Israel not only has them, but refuses to declare them. We're not even going to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Here's the facts. Iran, number one, was never trying to develop a nuclear weapon. Number two, their nuclear program was only for civilian power. Like power plants. Number three, they openly said they were going, that if the West lifted sanctions, they would forego that too. They said we won't even seek nuclear power.
Facts.
That's a fact. And they were at the table to negotiate. That's a fact. When Israel first bombed, the first bomb run they ran on Iran, they fired a cruise missile through the home of the chief Iranian negotiator. And now you've got Western news saying, well, will Iran come to the negotiating table?
They've been at the table.
Yo, is that...
Been at the table. And too, a lot of people got to realize too, a lot of those countries over there already experienced hardship for the last 20 years. So what makes you think these folks would want to double back to that after then they done rebuilt their whole lives.
Now, thank you, brother. Now, and let me add this to that point. You have North Korea now openly saying, listen close, we need, based on what we already are seeing, we, North Korea, need to give Iran nuclear capabilities so it can defend itself. In other words, the very thing that Netanyahu and crew said that they were trying to prevent, they just accelerated.
Yep.
That's what they did.
Japan, they had a summit about it.
Yes.
China just had to talk about it.
Yes.
Russia just had to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that something, people?
We just seeing the world stage being set.
That's fact.
That's what we watching.
That's fact. That's fact. And again, and this is to the audience, right? We're fortunate because we belong to the Moorish American movement and that we have instructions by Prophet Noble Drew Ali that are working. We're in the process. They are working to decolonize our thinking, our thought process.
Absolutely.
So it's a little easier for us because we can look at the world with decolonized minds or minds that are in the process of decolonization.
Absolutely.
So we have an advantage in that respect, you see. But to the audience in general, Let's Think podcast audience in general, I want to say, I've said it before. Don't listen to what people are telling you. Look at it yourself. Look at it and trust the evidence of your own eyes. That's it. Trust the evidence of your own eyes.
Forget about what they say and wash their hands.
Right, brother. The apparent and obvious outcome was always the intended outcome. We have another way to say it. There are no happenings. We're all governed. Yeah. The apparent outcome is the intended outcome, regardless to what they tell you the outcome is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do young people say it now? They playing in your face. Oh, they're telling you deportation, knowing full well it's not even close to deportation. And all you got to do is look at it and you can see for yourself. See? Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Let's get on into this. Let's see what our brother talk about, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're finna get into this for everybody. We finna do what everybody came to,
That's right, brother.
And before we get into this, people, this is responsible scholarship, responsible reaction.
That's
responsible dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're gonna figure out what we have going. Yeah,
I want to. You know what else, too, brothers? I want to reiterate something we said during the last show. I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to anyway. And that's this. First and foremost, we are not our experiences, and we're not our words.
No, sir.
Okay, there's a difference. So, by speaking critically to things that our brother Taj Tarik Bey teaches and has taught is in no way a condemnation of the person Taj Tarik Bey.
No,
we are not attacking this man, and we won't. We won't let anyone say that we are.
No.
First of all, we're grown men. I'm a grown man. Prophet Drew Ali said, "Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless." If I'm attacking a man, you'll know before I say it.
Absolutely.
All right. We're not attacking this man.
Absolutely.
But we could be constructively critical about anyone, especially our brother, because we're instructed when our brother's in adversity to do what? Assistant and corrective words.
Not. And assistant, and sure, forsake or not.
That's right. Yeah, that's assistance,
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. And that has
I tell
everything to
you
do
what,
with character.
right? I tell you what, I bet it's assistance that if she had the chance, our sister Corinne Gaines would have gladly taken.
Absolutely.
See,
Absolutely. For the opportunity to still be here and raise her son,
and raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
We can't even deny that, brother.
No, not at all.
You can't. All right, so
No.
let's do this.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Go ahead and do. I hope everybody got what we said in the beginning, but let's go.
That's right.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
all right. Hold on, let me.
As a symbol. And so white folk have always been very, very keenly aware of the intellectual genius of black folk.
What you have is the Europeanization of African spirituality, which they converted into religion in order to control the image of God that people saw when they prayed. So that's powerful.
History is especially important in race matters. And most of the documents were written by whites. And so whatever shaped the attitudes and the culture from a racial standpoint was shaped by whites.
We're looking at people who are absolutely losing it, the fear. But now they're beginning to see that not only is that not true, but you're not going to be able to continue to do this without the entire world looking on and holding you accountable for that.
Let us come together and let us move out of the darkness.
Poison, ecstasy, coke, you say it's love, it is poison. Schools where I learned it should be burned, it is poison.
Please take notes. It's very important. Give sister a hand. Remember, and this is true, when mother cures the problem, we're all cured. Wow. Right. That's the key.
Is the camera roll? No, that's what I can't be excused. That's funny. Thank you. Thank you.
All sisters, wives, all mothers, being your sons, we want to thank you for bringing us here. We all know that we were females first in the womb. We're talking about what the truth is, not what people claim. If we're going to solve the problems of the...
Please stop for a second.
I mean, okay, let's go.
All right, first thing I want to address. First thing is this whole where, and I want to inform everyone. That's the thing. I'll leave it up to the viewers to determine whether this is agreeable or disagreeable. But what our brother Taj Tarik Bey just spoke to right there is an ideology that we can entitle Mothers and Sons. Okay? That ideology comes from, I won't say he invented it, but it comes to the general public of our people through a man by the name of Charles Mosley Bey. That's where it comes from. Where he said in his literature, the Asiatic woman is Allah and men are sons of Allah. That's what he said. The Asiatic woman is God and her male offspring are sons of God. That's what he said. All right. That is not the teaching of the founder of the Moorish American movement.
No, sir.
No, sir, not at all.
That is not the teaching.
Absolutely not.
You know?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not the teaching. We do not teach that. Okay? We do not teach that. What is more specific? What is specifically taught about the truth of man as it relates to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali,
and
the Moorish American movement? Man is a thought of Allah. And man is not the body or the soul, man is spirit. And part of Allah.
And spirit is genderless.
There you go, brother. The whole gender demonstration is a consequence of material existence.
Mm-hmm.
Man is not the body or the soul.
And let's go with this too before we even get to that point. You know, just because we say feminine and masculine does not equate to male and female. Let's get that right too. Male and female are an expression of masculine and feminine energy.
Right. So, and also too, now the next thing I'm going to say is this, and this is going to ruffle some feathers and it's going to hurt some feelings. But even what he's saying about the manifest, about unborn children are female before they're male, bad science. That's not true. It's not true.
You know, we get. I mean, that's kind of controversial, Sharif, because we get that all the time. You know.
I know.
Yeah. That's
I know.
Yeah.
But here, I'll just say this: since people, if anybody has the notion that they want to discuss it publicly with me, before they do so, they should do this. They should look up what's called the SRY gene. And denote the function of the SRY gene on the Y chromosome. Do that first before you decide you want to have the conversation.
We got a super chat from Creator the Boundless Universe. He said, "Is that a Masonic concept?"
Let me. I want to say something about our brother Creator the Boundless Universe. Right?
He be asking them questions.
He be asking questions he already knows. Not only does he already know the answer to, but he knows we know.
Right.
That's what he's doing. I salute the brother.
And out of the gratitude for that $3 super chat. Creator the Boundless Universe. One of our moderators, you know what I'm saying, the building, always supporting, man.
Absolutely.
Gotta give you the love, man. Gotta give you the love.
Absolutely. And the short answer to that, of course, is yes. But I have to say it this way. Is that like a canonical Masonic doctrine? No.
No. Absolutely
not even close. It is an interpretation
that arises
of Sons of a Widow.
Right.
We know, matter of fact, let me just put it out there. We know the truth about Sons of a Widow, the phrase, and where it actually comes from.
Comes from Ruth, the story of Ruth.
You already know. And guess what? All or any Masonic scholar and researcher worth their salt will tell you that the Masonic fraternity borrowed or appropriated the term Sons of a Widow from Ruth the Moabitess. That's where it came from. Now, let's go into it briefly. We know, why did it come from Ruth? Because remember, Ruth and her mother Naomi had a plot, right, to have Ruth seduce King Boaz. It's one of the reasons why there's static between the descendants of Moab and the descendants of Jacob. Anyway, They were gonna get at and seduce King Boaz. That was the original plan. But Ruth had too much race pride and too much pride in her principles. So what did she do? She told Boaz, like, look, I can't do it. I'm a Moabitess, and that's what I'm gonna be. But this was the plan. King Boaz was so impressed, he said, you ain't got to seduce me. I'll marry you, make it legitimate. That's what happened. But King Boaz was an elderly man. So he died during the consummation of the marriage. Hence, all of the children of Ruth are called what? Sons of the widow. Now, brother, and this ain't no secret, because you could read about the legend of Hiram Abif. And we know that there's aspects of that legend that are not in the Bible. According to the Bible, Hiram Abif did what? He finished his work and went back home. But according to the Masonic legend, we know he didn't make it.
Not so.
Okay. Where was he? And this ain't a secret either. You can see this online too. Where was his body buried?
Northwest corner.
The northwest corner of the temple under a trash heap. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
What does our questionnaire say? What's the nationality of Ruth?
Moabites.
What is the modern name for Moabites?
Moroccan.
Where is the Moroccan Empire?
Northwestern Mexico.
I ain't got to say nothing else. See that? Creator of the balanced universe. Did I answer your question?
All right, let's go, man. We'll be right here all night, bro.
Planet, we must become honorable to the honor of our mothers and our fathers, and we must tell the truth about all things. The earth is steeped in lies and falsehood for Roman conquest. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But for the brothers, give a hand to your mothers. And keep in mind, all government is based in matriarchy, even though they play the Pope game.
Stop. That's not true. It's just simply not true. It's simply not true. All government is based. What? No, that's not true.
It doesn't make. Maybe it doesn't make sense to me. Let me say that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. To make such a statement, you got to provide some evidence.
He may be getting ready to, but I had to stop it right
there. Yeah, you got to provide some evidence. You know.
Yeah,
you got to provide evidence.
That I'm gonna let him keep going, but that's a heavy statement. That's a very heavy statement.
So let's just do some code breaking in advance. All right. First, let's wrap up the whole mothers and son thing, sons of a widow thing.
Yes.
Ruth's children were called sons of a widow not because she gave birth without the aid of a father or a husband. All right, see? Okay. The term widow implies what? A male was once involved.
Absolutely.
A man was once involved, and be accurate. Right? All right. So, in the symbolism in Revelations, 12th chapter, a woman, she's described, as I said, it was a wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. What is the symbology here? Sun is always masculine, moon is always feminine.
Absolutely.
So clothed with the sun, meaning under the protection and cover of a man. Even if that man isn't physically present. See? Yeah, let's not play these games, you know?
And that's not to say that the woman doesn't have her place. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying let's
Absolutely.
put things in context.
Absolutely. Let's put things in context. That's
You
it.
know, you know.
We're not taking, right. We're not in any shape, form, or fashion attempting to take or deny womanhood its significance or importance.
But in order that, as we were instructed to do, have a greater appreciation for womanhood, we have to put womanhood in its proper perspective. We have to appropriate it because it's so out of place in today's society that it takes someone to come in and appropriate these things.
Come on,
So,
brother. You got it. You
yes,
got
sir.
it, dear brother.
Yes,
That's
sir.
exactly right. To appreciate womanhood, you got to first know what womanhood is. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And listen close. Womanhood is not it's not the presence of woman. That's not womanhood.
Mm-mm.
Let me say that again.
Mm-mm.
Just because there are women present doesn't mean womanhood is present. Just like having male genitalia doesn't make me a man. See?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Salute to
the presence of physical men does not equate to the presence of manhood.
It doesn't constitute it neither.
No. And the same rule applies to women and womanhood. Same rule.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead. Let's see what he has to say. What else he has to say?
Salute to creator of the balanced universe. He said, James Brown said, this is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. And salute to you, creator of the balanced universe. For real. Salute to you. Let's see what our brother got to say. Let's see what he got to say.
One of the things I recognize with most people, particularly when we're trying to solve problems, we were talking about this actually on the way up, is that the masses do not know history.
No.
And they don't know history and law goes together. Keep that in mind. Like your left leg and your right leg, history and jurisprudence, which is the superior category of law, go together. The disadvantage that we have as a people is that those principles have deliberately been held back from people of Asiatic African descent for control purposes. Do not get preoccupied pointing your finger at the European, even though he has an agenda, for it is many of your own who have been working with them to enslave you. And we understand that slavery is used connotatively, because it actually deals with the Slovakians. It's really an identity. And so when it's used from an identity perspective, if you're seeking remedy, understand that you're declared incompetent.
Pause for a second. All right. He said a couple things here that I want to address. One, he said that a lack of knowledge of history, he said that history and jurisprudence are like two legs on the same body. It's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's not true. Okay. We went over this in our Sunday school earlier today. Here we go. Nationality. Like if you look at black, okay, everybody's enamored over the law as if Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition and 4th edition. Definition they give a nationality. Nationality is that quality or character that arises out of the fact that a person belongs to a nation or a state. First and foremost, quality or character is what? Intangibles. How do you make them? How do you make them known? You live them out, not write no affidavit. All right. Then it says nationality determines one's political status, specifically with reference to allegiance, while domicile determines one's civil status. Says nationality is acquired either via birth or naturalization. That's the definition it gives.
Right.
All right. Nationality determines one's political status. First of all, what is political status? Well, nationality isn't political status.
Your
Nationality determines
the relationship with the relationship with the government in which you live.
There you go. But specifically, to add to that, political status is your community's ability to modify the social landscape by way of the political process. That's it. Well, why is nationality? How does nationality determine political status? Because nationality is the okay. Here, I'll go back to what I said in Sunday school. So you said the political process, Brother Sharif. Okay, that means my vote counts. Your vote by itself does next to nothing. How does voting affect the political landscape? You got to do, as we used to say in the streets, you got to G up. You got to G up. In other words, it's the vote of a collective in one direction. That's what does it.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the primary way that people, especially in American society, organize? National origin. That's how.
Explain that to him. Explain
that. Right, that quality or character. See? And in American society, you have a nation made up of people from various old world connections.
Yes, sir.
There you go. So in the American system of government, in the American system, you've got people from various different old world societies. That is the primary way they organize. That's why you have an Irish vote block, an Italian vote block, a Japanese vote block. You see? That's the primary way. So that's why nationality determines political status. But what is nationality? Is it politics? No. Is it law? No. It's sociology. So I say this all the time. You've all heard me say it before. Politics trumps the law. Sociology trumps politics. It's the political process that determines how the laws are made. But it's sociology that already colors the minds of the people making or participating in the political process.
Social duties.
There you go, brother. Social duties, chapter 30, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Symbol of America.
Absolutely.
That's it. So
wouldn't they be in line with Confucianism?
Yes.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. Social duties. That's right. That's a fact. So, so this, again, I know I did for a very, very long time under the illusion that nationality is directly tied to jurisprudence. What laws apply, what laws don't, based on national origin. No such thing.
Absolutely.
No such thing. Don't believe that.
Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, don't believe that. That's not true. See?
Yes,
yeah, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Get back, because you know, this is a nice one. This is a lengthy one.
Yes.
Let's get back to that. Okay, bro.
So you were bound free men. The other issue, and I would like to see another picture up there, and I don't know if I have it with me. I'll try to find it. And this is with Obama coming through the double doors, representing the higher self and the lower self, with Michelle wearing a red dress with the Moorish flag to the left. That's after he had also made the declarations to the committees and to representatives of the nations of the world that the American Constitution is derived from Muslim law. One of the first issues with the Asiatics here is that they don't know that they're standing on Africa. The concept that has been promoted is that that's Africa alone. everybody in the world, particularly in any secret society, Skull and Bones, any of your Shriner, Masons, ETC, GAR, Daughters of American Revolution, Knights of Columbus, Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, ETC, all of them know that the land is Morocco.
Stop.
That the United States is a corporation, company, military.
We're going to talk about that corporation thing too. But listen. Okay. He just ran off a list of secret and fraternal organizations. As if all of these organizations are really just one big organization and they all have the same body of knowledge. And the one thing that they all share is that this over here is Africa. Right?
No, sir.
That okay,
Absolutely
so
not.
again, we've got initiated Freemasons here. Ain't never heard that in the lodge.
Absolutely not, bro.
All right, so
No.
now and this is being said by somebody who has never been in a lodge, who's never been a part of any of the organizations that he's named. That's irresponsible, people.
Just to count back on what you're saying, and for him to say that, if that was true, then why did all of these organizations always start a campaign to go back to Africa?
All of them. See? Like,
yeah. You wasn't supposed to say that, bro.
They gotta stop. Now, let's we don't want to just say that that's wrong.
No.
Let's give the balance. Okay. People learn, and now a part of what he's saying has truth to it.
It does. And we all know, somewhat of the I say the geographical knowledge of the coast of Florida and things of that particular nature. I mean,
now I'm going to add something even more significant on that point.
Yeah.
Here it is. But let's begin. See, to explain things to the general public of this type of nature, you have to first educate most of the time.
Yes, sir.
So here's the education, people. Know the difference between natural geography and political geography.
Absolutely.
Big difference. You got to know the difference. Here's a great example. Once upon a time, there used to be a USSR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? United Socialist Soviet Republics. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. The borders, the western borders, and the southern borders of the USSR are now different. It's now called Russia, people. The borders have changed. See? Because it no longer political geography is determined by the rise and fall of nations.
Absolutely.
See that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, that being said, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in almost every instance in our literature, when he speaks of something geographic, he's speaking from the political geographic perspective. How do you know that, Brother Sharif? This is how I know. Like in our questionnaire, where is the Moroccan Empire? The word empire is political.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural.
Mm-hmm.
The word kingdom is political. The word dominion is political.
Absolutely.
All right. So when he says Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa, we're dealing with political geography. And then he verifies it in instruction 7. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from Northeast and Southwest Africa across the Great Atlantis, even to the present North, South, Central America, also the Atlantis Islands. But then he gives a time frame before the great earthquake, which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. So we're talking about a point in time that parts of the Americas were considered African dominions. Well, guess what we found back in 2016? We, as in Ali's men, right? Specifically the Allende brothers, who were part of the research team when we were doing the research and getting ready for the debate with Brother Reggie. Guess what we found? We found a map drawn up in the year 1527 of the East Coast of the United States. It was a Spanish map. And guess what that map showed? It was unique in this sense, is that it named the Eastern Seaboard Dominions of Africa.
That's tough.
Yes.
And there was some I don't even think you had an opportunity to even bring out in that debate.
Not even. But again, remember, that was political geography, because remember 1527 is like 30 some odd years after the fall of our people in Spain ruling. See? And then you had a series of papal bulls that dealt with the Euro-Christian capture of territories formerly under Moorish authority. See that?
Yes, sir. Created a balanced universe.
Comes into play. Say it again, brother.
Created a balanced universe says, thanks for the $2 super chat. Honest and gratitude. He says Pangea.
Maybe. And this is why I say that, brother. Now you have two in archaeology and geology. You have two theories dealing with plate tectonics, separation of continents. Two theories. One is called the gradual theory, that continental drift and shift happened small increments over millions of years. Then you have the cataclysmic theory, that at various points in history, there were great shifts in more recent times. Which one of these does white supremacy support? And which one of these does the Prophet's literature support?
The Prophet, well, I know the Europeans, they support the gradualization. We support the cataclysmic demo.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's right in our literature. I mean,
that's right.
You know.
That's right, brother.
And then at that point, we're dealing with a science. We're dealing with a science called periodization. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, and peace and love, Islam, Stefan Lewis L. Islam, honors and gratitude for your support, sir. And yeah, much love to the brother Taj. We finna get right back to it. Here we go.
Sir.
Arm for the Spanish Inquisition against the Moors and Yahudi, mispronounced as Jew, both of which is you. That's the foundation of the entire world's politics. If anybody's talking
to you,
can you
back it up a little bit
about bringing remedies to you economically and politically, and don't representatives of the nations of the world in identity perspective, if you're seeking remedy, understand that you're declared incompetent.
Stop.
Or clear. So you were bound to free men. The other issue.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That whole thing. Sir. That's another thing I wanted to address before we move forward. Prophet Noble Drew Ali never included this whole thing of seeking remedy as part of the pursuit of Moorish American Muslims. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. In short, he said, get right with God. Let God fight the battles. Am I saying that we're not owed something? No. Prophet said that the Europeans are going to have to pay off in compounded interest. So, yeah, it's not a matter of whether we're owed something or not. It's a matter of, are we going to put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart? That's it.
Absolutely.
See? That's it. We got to do some things first. And when we do those things as a collective, then the rest, including remedy, is a foregone conclusion. Until we do those things, it's mum's the word. All right, let's go.
And I would like to see another picture up there. And I don't know if I have it with me. I'll try to find it. And this is with Obama coming through the double doors, representing the higher self and the lower self, with Michelle wearing a red dress with the Moorish flag to the left. That's after he had also made the declarations to the committees and to representatives of the nations of the world that the American Constitution is derived from Muslim law. One of the first issues with the Asiatic.
I don't know if Obama actually said that. Did you hear that?
I have never.
Okay, I don't know if he actually said that. Now, am I going to say that the Constitution is not based in Muslim law? I'm not going to say that. The principles of the Constitution are in lockstep with Islamic law.
Mm-hmm.
The principles, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali called the United States Constitution one of the greatest documents ever written.
Yes, sir.
Make no mistake, one of the things that our prophet was doing was that he was holding the European and us to the constitutional social contract.
Mm-hmm. Standard.
That's it. Holding us and them to the standard.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it misunderstood or allowed to be misunderstood that somehow we're privileged or we're owed something simply because the constitutions, the principles of the Constitution are in tune with Islamic law.
That's a great point.
Right. All right, go. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here is that they don't know that they're standing on Africa. The concept that has been promoted is that that's Africa alone. Everybody in the world, particularly in any secret society, Skull and Bones, any of your Shriner, Masons, ETC, GAR, Daughters of American Revolution, Knights of Columbus, Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, ETC, all of them know that the land is Morocco.
That's a lie.
That right there is highly irresponsible.
Dangerous.
Yeah. And besides being untrue on a number of levels, it's not. That's not taught in these organizations.
I just had to say it like that, and I'm not being disingenuous when I say it, or
right,
bro. That's absolutely irresponsible and not true.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you have to look at the psychology behind the statement. It's, to imply that we're owed something simply because.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is, also too, well, here we go. He said he's saying that. Now, we already know where this is going as well. Mm-hmm. For him to say that this is Morocco, the line of logic he's going is the next step is what? We own it, they owe us.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
We own it, they owe us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incorrect.
Red want his chain back.
Red want his chain back. Exactly.
My chain, come on.
That's not how this works.
No.
It's not how this works. It's not how this works.
Not at all.
Not how this works. Now, did the prophet say, because before anybody goes there, prophet said, children, you're at home. The European is 3,000 miles from home. He's going to take on some water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, people will take that statement from the prophet to try to justify or back up what Taj Tarik Bey just said here. The prophet was speaking to prophecy. Let me show you. Look at what's happening currently in Israel. And make no mistake, ideologically speaking, Israel and America are one and the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They birthed it.
Both Euro-colonial settler states.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. What's happening with Israel? Mass exodus. They're getting up out of there.
Yes, sir.
All right. They're getting up out of there. That's what they're doing. Okay.
Absolutely.
Where is Netanyahu right now? He's in Greece. He ain't even in Israel. In other words, now what are they going to do? I mentioned earlier in the show how they've now made it to where the rest of the world can't stand them because they did the very thing that they claimed was done to them, and they did it live on camera for the world to see.
10 times fold.
Right. So, how are they going to get the rest of the world to accept them? They're going to have to go back to what they were. Western and Eastern Europeans. They're going to give up Jewish identity to do it. You hear me?
Whoa.
No, it's happening already, but it's going to be bigger. They're giving up, they're not just accepting what they were, Europeans, from various European nations. They're going to give up Jewish identity because they don't want to get beat up and persecuted for what they've done to the Palestinians. What did the prophet say about that? He said, we're going to smell the Europeans going home. We're actually seeing it. This is what the prophet was speaking to when he said, Moors, you are at home. The European, all right, see that? That's what he was speaking to. Not us squatting on people's homes. Not us saying, oh, we don't have to pay this tax or that tax because this is my land. Wait a minute, if it's your land, that's like saying it's my house. Who pays the bills in your house?
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
See? It's crazy.
Exactly. Yes, sir. You ready?
I'm ready.
That the United States is a corporation, company, military arm for the Spanish Inquisition against the Moors and Yahudi, mispronounced as Jew, both of which is you.
Stop.
That's the foundation of the entire world's politics.
Stop.
If anybody's talking to you about bringing remedy to you economic,
I knew it. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, the United States is not a corporation. I've been saying it, and I've been waiting for anybody, to say, look, I'll have the conversation with you publicly to refute that. Because there's still people running around saying the United States is a corporation. It is not a corporation.
And by the way, y'all can have the dialogue right here on Let's Think Podcast. We can't
Title
set
28, Section 3002 of the United States Code does not say the United States is a corporation. Okay, it doesn't. What it says is, for the purpose of definitions of the context of this code, of this title, which is what, people? Debt pursuit. Debt pursuit. It says the term United States means a federal corporation, That's what it says. It doesn't say it is. It says it means, meaning when the title is used when the United States is in court for debt collection.
According to science, black means.
It doesn't say black is death. It says black means death. See? Come on, people. And then you got to read the whole title. There's a whole list. Man, there's at least 40 different corporations working on behalf of the United States that when they're in court for debt collection are called United States. That's what it means.
Also, in other words, called doing business as.
DBA.
After that, what we talking about?
Exactly, brother. But then he ties it into, he says military, and then says Spanish Inquisition, and then says, no. Now, I did say this before, and I'll say it again. The United States is not a corporation, but it is owned by corporations. That's a fact.
That's hey.
Ain't no disputing that.
Hey.
Ain't no disputing that. There's corporations that own that own the United States. That's the truth.
President Wilson got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when the president of BlackRock can announce that he's trying to buy 90% of the ports in the Panama Canal, and then less than a week later, Trump says, "Yes, we're getting the Panama Canal back." Who's the we you talking about?
Facts.
We already know.
Yeah, we already know.
That boy speaking French.
Absolutely.
We already know. See? Okay, what else did he say? Now, one thing he said that's interesting. He basically said, the world's politics are all based on this particular thing. In part, he's right.
Yeah.
In part, he's right.
Yeah.
Western, the present world status quo is Euro-Western.
Yeah.
The Euro-Western narrative is on its way out. But make no mistake, the Euro-Western narrative is based on the hidden history of the defeat of the Moors, which are the founders of old world Western society. That's it.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And mind you, this is 9 years ago. This is 9 years ago. We got to get, I wanted to point that out. This is 9 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Brothers, I gotta cut loose a little early, so we definitely have to do a part 2 to this, and probably a part 3.
Yes, sir.
To this video, yeah.
Let's get through as much as we can, then we'll cut out.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Quickly and politically, and don't give you the foundation of the real politics of the world is only playing with you. It's not personal. Let's deal with reality. If you want to fix things, you got to deal with facts. You cannot deal with emotions, how you feel, biases, who you like, who you don't like, etc. Take all that stuff, throw it out the door. Just deal with facts.
I want to say this. That's a very true statement.
That is very true.
That is a very true statement. Yes. I want to say that because before everyone feels like, well, we're just disagreeing with everything he said. No, what he just said right there, that is a very true statement.
Correct.
Yep.
So correct. I want everybody who heard that to swallow that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
so many narratives are being spun. So many narratives are being projected.
Yes.
But I'm being projected. But guess what? Only one of them is the truth. Possibly none of them.
There you go. Here, I say it this way. My father said it like this. We all can't be right.
No.
But we all can definitely be wrong.
And guess what? The generality of what?
The generality of men are ignorant. Says general opinion is no proof of truth, for the generality of men are ignorant.
Huh? Doesn't that speak about the majority?
That's a fact, brother.
All right. I just want to stop there. Let me keep going.
Pray. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because only truth is going to solve things. Are we clear? And the purity of your heart will determine your connection to the electrical grid that's by nature on the planet for every living species. We have been disconnected. People have called it a lack of spiritual connection is because the masses don't get spirituality. Understand that. Only the imams, the rabbis, the rabbinate, the reverends, the PhDs, all of them are PhDs, and every last one of them are Gnostics. So don't get it twisted and don't get biased because I belong to this club or you belong to that club. It's a game for the masses. The masses have never been given religion. Don't take it from an insulting perspective. It's just the truth. That's why you're in trouble. Can't solve problems because you.
Hey.
I don't quite agree with that. Some of that I can. Some of that I can reason with. When he said that the masses have never been given religion in the truest sense, I can agree with that to a large degree.
Yeah,
but that doesn't demonize religion.
Yeah. Because that's the aim of the statement.
Say it again.
That's the aim of the statement. Is to demonize it. That's the aim. Yeah.
Right. That's a fact. And then one thing he said straight outrageous.
But then he said true religion.
Right.
So, when we start to put things in context, when we speak like that, you know what I'm saying? Because we do know. Well, let me put it this way: we do have in every religion there's always been an outer circle and an inner circle.
Always.
That's now, right. Is the inner circle telling the outer circle lies? No.
Right.
What the inner circle knows is aspects of what the outer circles don't know.
Correct.
And that's your mother. You must be. If you have a fault with that, you should have a fault with your parents because they always knew something that you didn't know.
There you go.
Facts.
That's right. One of the things that he said that was extremely outrageous. He said all of the religious clergy or in various religions are all Gnostics.
Not at all.
No. Now, he may mean, again, I don't know, I can't speak for our brother. He may mean that those in the higher ranks of various religious orders have deeper knowledge. He may be using Gnostic in that sense. And if he's using it in that sense, I can guardedly agree.
But deeper knowledge don't necessarily mean Gnostic.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is 100% correct. That's 100% correct.
Yeah. So that's like taking a specific point and painting it with a broad brush.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you sir. Can't. Yeah, that's not sufficient. That's not not sufficient.
No.
Nor is that genuine. You know what I'm saying? That's not
right.
genuine. You know what I mean? Nah.
That's right. That's right, brother. You're right. You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct. And, well, you're 100% correct. It's if you're going to bring up, for instance, to an audience that you've already determined, which he has in the beginning of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are generally and innocently ignorant, then if you bring up the term Gnostic, you have to explain the term.
Islam. That's exactly what you have to do.
Yeah.
You can't, that's the loose end if you don't.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct, brother.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. I got 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Yes,
let's
sir.
get this. I'm gonna let him run for it. I'm gonna let him run for it again. Then you can stop him. Then we'll pause there.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You don't have any cure. But the people are taught self-righteousness so that they can feel and project that they're doing something good for God, Jesus, Allah, Moses, Muhammad. And their babies are dying younger and younger on the streets. Their families are falling apart. IRS is taking everything they own and they're lying to their children, talking about how safe they are. However, the world sees us for the hypocrites that we actually are. But we've polished that very well. And so we have this self-righteousness with us that blocks information. So when facts contradict our beliefs, we reject the facts and start re-examining our position to see maybe we're wrong. Maybe stuff doesn't work for us because we're wrong. oh, we can't be that because we're saved and nobody else is. Of course, the rest of the civilized world doesn't have time for that, so they continue to make progress, even in hard times, while we suffer all the economic, social, political destruction that we suffer. Please write this down. Do this as a reference for research, etc., because our purpose is to bring effect, not to feed your emotions. Are we clear? The Spanish Inquisition is the foundation of the entire modern world's politics, and every politician knows it, every reverend knows it, every Shriner knows it, every Master Mason knows it, every member of Skull and Bones, Caicos, Ku Klux Klan, Knights Malta, Daughters of American Revolution, Daughters of ISIS. Why do they know it? Because they belong to the secret societies to get the truth that's held from the masses.
Hey,
Super irresponsible.
Hey, hold on. Hey, hey, bro, that's a broad brush.
Very broad.
That's a lot of people you got to go talk to.
Very broad. Now, what he said about the significance of the Spanish Inquisition isn't that far off, but it's too general to say that Spanish Inquisition is the foundation of today's Western politics. It played a major part in shaping the present Western world. That is more accurate.
Right.
That's more
and
accurate.
Can I say this? Because
Yes,
the brother continues to say your Master Masons, your Shrine, no, though these institutions, the institutions,
yes,
may hold knowledge,
yes,
of these particular things, does not mean that these particular individuals have been able to see what's before their face.
You know that, and I know that, brother, because we know many initiated, passed, and raised Freemasons that don't have a clue whatsoever.
Come on,
bro. About any of this.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother. For you to say you're high ranking and or bro, I know brothers who have 90 something degrees that don't know what this man is
any
talking.
of this. Exactly. Exactly.
So you to say that just because a brother has a degree in masonry,
right,
or is a mason,
right,
or whatever may have it,
right,
to automatically insinuate that this individual knows about what you're talking about is disingenuous at most.
Disingenuous. That's right. That's right, brother.
Disingenuous at most.
Yeah.
And I understand, your angle.
Yes.
But the more appropriate thing to say would be certain ones know.
There you go.
Particular ones know. In high places may know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But to just throw a wide brush on Master Masons, Shriners, Daughters, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Real quick, I want to real quick. He didn't put it. He didn't do a super chat, but I want to touch on it very briefly.
Yeah.
The brother Adam Cobb. Can someone explain, if USA isn't a corporation, why the USA has a business address, 1600 Pennsylvania? That's not the business address if it has a business address at all. That's one. Two, president, CEO, or vice president, secretary of treasury, right? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Here we go. What makes a corporation? What's one of the prerequisites to a corporation? There has to be an incorporating authority. So what nation or what incorporating authority created the United States?
Some gonna say Morocco. We already know that.
Morocco, that's called recognition. It was already created July 4, 1776. In 1786, 10 years later, the Moroccan Empire recognized the 13 colonies as an independent nation. And it was the first nation in the families of nation to do so. So no, we did not incorporate the United States.
Mm-mm.
We recognize that.
Mm-mm.
See, big difference. So there has been an incorporating authority that you can point to.
And they come on, bro. There was no corporation, during the inception of this particular demonstration. We didn't have no corporations.
No,
my brother.
No, exactly. So that's why. That's
the
why.
First nation
it's a good
state,
question.
The first nation state.
He says a corporation can be created by a corporation. Okay, maybe, but what corporation? You got to point. You got to name it. We can't do what ifs. What corporation created the United States?
Let's go.
Paper trail. Where's the paper trail?
Where is the paper trail?
Show me the money.
No, now you're now you're here's the brother just said the Vatican.
Right.
Okay, pull up the date. Pull up the date of origin of the Vatican. Of Vatican City. Pull it up, please.
Oh. This is what I'll do. I'll do it. Okay. The independent state of Vatican City came into existence in 1929 via the Lateran Treaty.
All right.
Between the Holy
So we know it
See
wasn't the
and
Vatican, don't we?
Italy. Yeah, we do know that.
We know it wasn't the Vatican.
Right.
We know it wasn't the Vatican.
Right.
All right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because the United States was, well in existence.
Exactly.
The creator of the boundless universe says, is it the Articles of the Confederation?
I'm sorry, say it again. Oh, is it the Articles of Confederation? But here's the thing, dear brother. Articles of Confederation were drawn up by who? Continental Congress. I don't incorporate myself.
All right, Brother Cobb. I don't know all the answers, but it makes more sense than the USA not being a corporation. What about the British Crown and East Indian?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're not, here's the thing. That's called anti-scholarship, dear brother. You can't start. It's also called confirmation bias. You can't say, well, I have this hypothesis. I think United States Corporation. And only look for information that agrees with your hypothesis. And reject anything that doesn't agree with it. That's anti-scholarship. That's not scholarly, number one.
Yes,
number two, that's you incessantly trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because every corporation has an incorporating authority.
Everyone.
And you can't find one for the United States.
That's why, watch this. A little bit of basic civics 101. Subdivisions of states are corporations. Towns, cities, villages, counties. What's the incorporating authority? The state. States are not incorporations. States are not corporations. How can you say that, Brother Sharif? Because how are states created? They're created via congressional authority. They're admitted to the union, not incorporated. That's how. See? Yeah. This is Civics 101, though. Yeah. States are admitted to the union via a congressional authority, not incorporation.
Well, brother, I know you got to run, brother.
Yes, sir. I do. This was good.
You know what? I got you too. But hey, guess what? We're gonna win a part 2 of this one, and I'm gonna let y'all know we left off at. I'm gonna tell you where we left off at. We left off at 8 minutes and 51 seconds. We didn't even get that far into it. So
there's so much.
It's so much, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, brother. We got to give it up to the brother Taj that he's gonna give you so many talking points. You know what I'm saying?
A ton of talking points.
Yeah, because of his depth of knowledge and his perspective. Whether we agree with it or not, we cannot say that he does not have in his depth of perspective. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And in order for us to really give a clear and concise response to what he's saying, we have to take it point by point.
Yes, we do, brother.
He's not a simpleton. The brother's not a simpleton. He's highly intelligent.
No. He's well read.
He's well read. So, we're not taking this like, because as they know, if ones who saw our last reaction, we didn't get through that video either.
No,
but
we didn't.
This one we're
going to get through.
This one we're going to deal with.
Absolutely.
So the next reaction video will be coming back with number 2.
Yes, sir.
Brother Sharif also has a presentation that he's going to be coming with. We're getting ready for that.
Yes, sir.
And he also has just another podcast where he's going to be telling us about Moorish science in the 90s.
Back in the 90s.
What did Moorish science look like in the 90s? And I also have this question. And I'm going to let everybody know, just because I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America doesn't mean I ain't have this question.
Right.
During the 90s, what was the position of the Moorish Science Temple of America? You know what I'm saying? That's going to be a question that I would love for you to answer on that night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, we do know Taj and Brothers of the Light has been putting in that work, bro.
For sure.
For sure. That's a question.
There was Taj, our brother Taj, whether I agree with a lot of what he's teaching or not, it's a fact that Brother Taj was instrumental in the development of many of us. Instrumental. Instrumental. Make no mistake. But as man unfolds, his God unfolds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I want to say this, as I've always said, honest to that brother. Honest to Brother Taj.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? For the work he's done, because I truly believe that he honestly, stands on and believes what he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, regardless of the fact, he stood for what he believes, what he stands on, his perspective, and that can only be respected, right or wrong.
Exactly.
Or indifferent. You know what I'm saying? That can only be respected. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that, we don't have to agree should always be respected. You know what I'm saying?
We don't have to agree to give respect and to show respect. And we don't got to agree to show honor either.
Right.
We sure don't.
Absolutely. So, Project Baby and me, he just coming in. You got me here late, brother. But guess what, man? That's why YouTube is so good, because you always got the replay. For everybody who were here in the chat, do me a favor before we get out of here. Please hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely.
We truly appreciate it. Get us in the algorithm. Get us out here so this information can get to the masses. Ishmael Bey
listen.
in the building.
Listen.
Come on, man.
Listen. Ish can bear witness. Back in those times, back in the early 90s, the only person that had Moorish literature that we had access to was Taj. His civic lessons were like crack to us.
I tell you what, we might need to get Ishmael Bey on that show too.
Man, Ish was there.
Let's get Ish. You in the chat. How about getting on the show with the brother, talk about more science in the 90s? What's up?
Please.
Let me know what you're gonna do before we get out, before we check out.
Yo, for
we need
real,
you on
like,
that show.
yo, we got some stories. I'm telling you.
More science in the 90s. I'll go ahead and make the thumbnail and get it popping.
Yeah, we got some stories, bro.
He said for sure.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, we
All
gonna
right,
add.
that's what's up.
Yeah, he said for
Oh.
sure. So y'all two link in on that date. You
Yes,
and
sir.
Brother Ishmael. And
The brother Adam Cobb said, "Get Taj on the show to rebuttal."
hey,
We
guess
would
what?
love to.
Guess what?
We would absolutely love to.
We would you get him on here
There you go, please.
to rebuttal.
Absolutely.
You get him on here. You
That's
know,
right.
I mean, we're only reacting to a video. But I mean, for all those who feel like he needs to defend himself or he needs to do a rebuttal, only thing you have to do is contact him and tell him. Only thing he had to do is contact us, and we can, he's more than welcome on the show.
Well, you know what? One of the things I don't get why y'all trying to discredit this man. Nobody's trying to. You obviously, dear brother, did not listen to what we said at the beginning of this show. Nobody's trying to discredit Taj Tarik Bey.
Not at all.
We're speaking critically about what he's teaching. Anybody could do that about what we teach.
Fact.
And I'm not going to take. And matter of fact, I say this fairly often. I definitely tell my members of my temple this. Fact check me. You may correct me, in which case I will be grateful. I will be, but guess what? I research and I strive to research without bias. And I belong to a research team that will catch me out there if I'm slipping. And that's before I present anything public. So guess what that means, dear brother Cobb? It means, yes, please vet anything I say, but I ain't gonna make it easy.
And Brother Cobb, let me say this. Just because we disagree and we speak our perspective in disagreement to what he's saying does not mean that we're discrediting him.
Taj is my brother.
I just gave him credit for the work that he has done, whether I agree with it or not.
There you go. And here, watch this, Brother Sheikh 7. The last time I spoke with Taj was on a public forum online. You could still get it. Our brother Red Pill on Know the Ledge. It was me, Taj Tarik Bey, and Sabir Bey. And Taj, my good brother Taj, agreed with just about everything I said. There you go.
And we're not against that, brother.
Yeah, don't do that. This is not soap operas. We don't gotta agree with. Yeah, that's the other thing too. We don't gotta be enemies or adversaries because we disagree.
Right, and we're not gonna allow ones to make this that.
No.
Yes.
No.
And
we're not gonna allow that.
And two, we done tried some of this stuff that he's talking about.
We sure did.
So
we
again,
sure did. Didn't we?
Yeah.
We tried some of this stuff he's talking about.
And so again, what we're saying is, just like you give him an ear and you trust what he's saying, listen to what we're saying. Do your research.
Right.
Be a researcher. Be a true intellectual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not against this brother.
No, but that don't mean we got to agree with everything either.
Not gonna agree with everything he says.
Prophet Drew Ali ain't make no yes men.
Not at all. Me and these brothers don't agree with everything.
That's a fact. We still brothers and still working together. How about that?
So you think we don't discredit each other. You know what I'm saying? So let's not.
Right.
He said, I don't agree with everything Ty says either. I don't agree with everything anyone said. Exactly.
You shouldn't have a problem with this show, dear brother. You should not have a problem with this show.
So we're not, bashing him. You know what I'm saying? We're not discrediting him.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he did put information on a public forum.
There you go. There you go.
And we have every right,
to
the public to address things that are placed in the public.
There you go.
And it's not out of disrespect.
It's definitely not. But you know, by the brother's own words, he says, who said I don't, he said, I don't agree with everything Taj says either. I don't agree with everything anyone says. Then you should absolutely have no problem with this critical analysis of Taj Tarik Bey's work. She had no problem with it at all.
Brother, no one said you don't research. See, you're taking things personal. You know what I'm saying?
But Brother C7, listen, I got to run. But listen, how don't we invite this brother on the show?
Yeah, we can.
Come on the show and have a conversation, brother.
Yeah. Matter of fact, part 2, please be chimed in, and maybe we can throw the link in the chat, because I was gonna do that tonight, but our brother got to get moving. Got things in motion. But next show, next reaction, we're gonna leave some time open. We're gonna throw the link in the chat so you can hit the joint and come in and have what say what you have to say. You know what I'm saying? Because this is not about discrediting anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, you just don't understand where it's coming from, brother. Maybe you're not. How long have you been in the Moorish movement?
Well, also, brother, that statement, then I got to run. That statement is coming from a place of he's presuming that we're being antagonistic towards the brother when we're not. When we're not.
Not at all. But brother, what can I say? What I will say is tune into the next show. We give you an opportunity to come up, speak your piece, and it's all peace.
It's all love. Absolutely.
It's all love.
Listen, I gotta go.
Islam.
Love you, brothers. We're gonna talk very soon.
Islam.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Everyone, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Again, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Support the channel. The Cash App is in the chat. Support the channel. Send your super chats, your super thanks, your super stickers if you can. We appreciate all support. Like, share, subscribe, and we out here.
Peace.
We out here. Peace.